Hello and welcome to another episode of the Expertly German podcast, the podcast to learn German. Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einer weiteren Episode des Expertly German Podcast, dem Podcast zum Deutschlernen. Hi Farah, thank you very much. Vielen herzlichen Dank, dass du wieder beim Podcast dabei bist. Du bist ja eine Dolmetscherin, eine Interpreter und kennst dich deshalb ganz gut mit Sprachen und Sprachenlernen aus. So you do know about the topic learning language as you are an interpreter for various world-known institutions. And so I wanted to invite you today to talk a little bit about how we can have how do you call it? Language retreat?
Language retreat.
Yeah, language retreat. Yay. So I feel like I have a lot of listeners who want to learn German, maybe also other languages. And now might be a good time because we have Christmas. We are supposed to have more time.
Absolutely. Now is the best time. We don't really have that much time, but we can make something out of it. We can make something happen.
So how does a language retreat look like? Wie sieht so ein Language Retreat, so eine Zeit für das Sprachenlernen aus?
Well, that's a very good question. When you think of a language retreat, you might think of something like something very sehr groß in anderer Land, and you might think you have to spend lots of Geld, and my brain is warming up. Yeah, I'll get to the German soon. However, you can.
It sounds a little bit like you're going to a yoga retreat in India.
Yeah. But it doesn't need to be like that. You can do a language retreat in dein Haus oder in ein Café or something,
In deinem Haus
Yes,
oder in einem Café? Just, we're warming up.
Yes, we are. As soon as I said it, I was like, uh-oh, that little M, that changes everything. In deinem Haus oder im Café? No, in
im
einem
Café.
Okay, so and the most important thing about a language retreat is that less is more. I don't know if you can say that in German. Weniger ist mehr.
Weniger ist mehr. Korrekt. Ja, weniger ist
mehr. And I thought about this because in German, you say Urlaub machen, right? Whereas, and machen, at least for me, means to make.
Yeah, it's like an active thing.
Yeah. So I really liked this, the idea that you create a holiday, you make a holiday. Whereas in English, you go on holiday. In French, you prends des vacances. You take a holiday. Spanish as well, you go on holiday. But in German, you don't have to go anywhere. You can just make it. You can create. It's so creative. So I thought,
you could say in den Urlaub fliegen.
Oh, you can't ruin my
But we do say Urlaub machen. We also do say Urlaub machen.
Okay, good. We'll keep Urlaub machen because it's very nice, especially mid Corona and when people can't reisen and things like that. The idea of being able to create, ein Urlaub is really lovely. So,
before we continue with the episode, just a little reminder, you can find the transcript of the podcast in the show notes below. Also, I just launched a 10-week program that teaches you German. There are 2 programs available, one for A1 levels and one for A2 to B1 level. And the good thing about this program is that I will send you material, videos, homework, and quizzes throughout the week when you join the program. And then in the weekly group session, we will discuss the topic that I've sent you per email. So this is a great way to learn by yourself and also to learn it with others and with me and practice speaking, but also learning the grammar at your own pace. I think this is really valuable for people who kind of want to immerse themselves more into the German language in various ways. And the program is also priced pretty well. So go to my website, expertlygerman.com, and click on 10-week program.
I'll say a few steps that you can take for your your Urlaub. How are you saying it in German? Sprache retreat.
I actually don't know, but I would say maybe Sprachretreat oder einfach nur, ähm, so the retreat, I would say, ist der Rückzug.
Okay.
Sich zurückziehen, to kind of like pull yourself back.
Mhm.
Der Sprachrückzug, I don't know, I've never heard that one. So let's just go with language retreat.
Okay. So I'll just share a few steps on how to make this Sprachretreat or
Ja.
language retreat. I like the idea of Zurück. And think practical steps that you can take, and then what to do if you really don't have time. We'll get to that. So the first thing I would say is that with the whole weniger ist mehr, it really doesn't have to be ein Woche, oder ein Monat. Sometimes people go on these retreats that last forever, and you're like, wow, where do they get the time? It can really be ein Morgen oder ein Nachmittag oder ein Wochenende. It can be whatever. It's just time that you're dedicating to language learning. So it's really important. You have to blockiere das
Ja.
In deinem Kalender. I got my M now. In deinem Kalender. Das ist sehr, 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 sehr wichtig. Because if you can see it, it's visual, it's there, and you're like, okay, this is the time that I'm dedicating to learning Deutsch or the Französisch or whatever you're learning.
What I oftentimes do, I currently don't learn another language, but what I oftentimes do is I don't start working at all before 8. Ich fange nicht mit dem Arbeiten an vor 8 zum Beispiel. Und dann, wenn ich, sagen wir, um 6 aufstehe, dann nutze ich einfach die Zeit mit einem Kaffee und einem Buch und fokussiere mich wirklich für diese Zeit auf das Lesen oder das Lernen von irgendetwas. Und ich habe dann wirklich in meinem Kopf, I then really have in my head that, okay, I'm not going to start working or anything before that certain period of time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you start looking at your phone and you start just like dabbling around, and next thing you know, it's 8.
No, your phone, das ist ein großes Problem, right? Because another very important thing for this is you can do it in your house, but it's better if you're away from your house so that there are no distractions, so you're not distracted by dein Arbeit or cooking or cleaning or something. So it's good if you go in einem Café.
Das ist gut, ja.
And lass dein Handy zu Hause.
Oh,
That is
wow.
the best thing you can do.
I think this is a good advice, but no one is doing it, actually.
No.
I don't think anybody listening to it will be like, oh yeah, it's such a great idea to leave your phone just at home so I have more time. And you go out and you you grab on your pocket and you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going crazy. I'm not leaving my phone at home.
You're going to be like, oh no, but ich brauche mein Handy. Ich werde Musik hören oder, ich brauche, you'll just make up any excuse.
Yeah.
But if you can, you try it and you'll see it's so liberating. And if you need a challenge, then ich wage dich. Is that a thing? I dare you?
Ich fordere dich heraus.
Oh my God. Sorry, can you say again? Ich fordere dich heraus.
Ja.
Yeah.
So herausfordern is to challenge.
Herausfordern.
Yeah.
Well, I know some people are very competitive, and as soon as you say I challenge you, they're like, yeah, I'm doing it. So there you go. I challenge you. Lass dein Handy zu Hause. Das ist schwer, aber sehr, 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 sehr.
Das ist zum Beispiel etwas, was ich nicht mache. Also extra ins Café gehen und dann dort zu lernen, weil, aber das ist echt ein guter Tipp oder ein guter Punkt. Und was mache ich dann am besten, wenn ich dann in dem Café bin?
It depends. You have to only do one thing, just one thing. Zum Beispiel, mein Planer ist and I know you can't see, but I'm showing you. Ich habe ein Buch
Ja.
in Französisch, und das ist L'Allemand pour les paresseux.
Aha.
That's German for lazy people.
Ja.
I'm not a
With a
lazy
sloth on
person
it.
with a sloth on it. Yes, I'm not a lazy person, but that's not the point. The point is, it's like a really easy book with like a story, and
Yeah.
you just complete it, and each chapter has got like a certain thing that you.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, it's really good. It's about some story about some people who are traveling, and then they have some problems, and then there are like these little games and things. Das ist alles.
Ah.
I'm not doing anything else. Ich mache, I don't want to say nichts, but nichts mehr. Like I'm not doing
Nichts anderes.
nichts
Ich
anderes.
fokussiere mich nur darauf.
Yeah. Because in the past, I used to have these great big plans, color coded and everything, and it was
Ja.
too much. And then you don't do anything,
Ja.
and then suddenly it's New Year, and you're like, where has the time gone?
Do you know if that already exists for English speakers learning German?
I don't know. I found it in La Fnac in Belgium.
Maybe if I find it online, I will put it in the show notes, and
Yeah,
then maybe there's
because
an English version of that
it's
as well.
really good. And that's another important point, is that if like this is my new goal, because before mein Ziel, and you'll remember because I told you this, mein Ziel für 2021 war ein Buch lesen. Aber das ist sehr schwer für mich, like jetzt. So
Weil es sehr, sehr lange dauert. Es gibt sehr viele Vokabeln, die du nicht
ja,
kennst, und dann dauert es einfach lange.
das ist nicht so schwer, weil das ist ein Buch mit E-Mails. The whole book is emails. So
Oh.
if anyone wants a recommendation, because it's very, very good, it's, well, do you want to read the title?
Alle 7 Wellen, All Seven Waves, und dann Daniel Glattbauer.
Yeah, aber das ist the second book.
Das zweite Buch.
Das zweite Buch. And I've read the erste Buch, aber auf Französisch. And I wanted to read the second one in German because it's the original language. But it's for now, it's too difficult. So that's my next piece of advice. Haben Sie keine Angst of changing your plans.
Deine Pläne zu ändern.
Zu ändern, ja.
Habe keine Angst davor, deine Pläne zu ändern. Don't fear to change your plans.
Yeah, it's good to revise your plans. Like,
Yeah.
and no matter what goals you have, even if you don't reach them, you just revise them, and then you continue, and you just keep learning.
Like when you're revising your plan that you wanted to leave your phone at home, but then you're actually taking it with you. That can also
Tom,
backfire.
Bad influence. I know what people are going to say. They're going to say, yeah, but I have a German app. Yeah, but ich habe Duolingo in meinem
Yeah.
Handy. Oder ich
Yeah.
habe, I don't know what.
And it sends me every day a reminder where then don't learn it. But I see the reminder.
Yeah, or it gives me notifications about this podcast or this or that. And ich verstehe, aber like, come on, just try it once, just once.
Ja.
You'll be
Aber
fine.
ich finde das gut. Das ist ein guter Tipp. Du hast also einen Plan und sagst dann allerdings nicht: „Okay, mir gefällt der Plan irgendwie nicht, das geht vielleicht in die falsche Richtung, und dann passe ich den Plan aber an." Dass das eben wichtig ist, so that you have an openness to adjust your plan, change your plan, and don't stay maybe miserable in that plan because you said at the beginning, "I have to do this, and now there's no way I'm not gonna do this."
Yeah, the whole point is that you must be like, ich freue mich. Like, this makes me excited. I'm looking forward to it, Mach es spaßig. Spaßig.
Ja.
Make it fun,
Ja.
You have to do something that you enjoy, otherwise it will never work. If you don't like verbs, don't put verbs on your language retreat. Like, but it has to be something that you like. For example, it also doesn't have to be, I'm going to a cafe and ich trinke Kaffee und ich lese ein Buch ohne mein Handy, my life is so miserable. It doesn't have to
Ja,
be like that. You can go on a wandern,
ja, ja, ja.
and du kannst einen Podcast hören, du kannst ein Audiobook lesen, or
Ja,
not lesen because you're listening, so hören.
ein Audiobuch hören, genau. Und for the
Ja.
listeners, wandern is to hike, not to wander. Just
Oh, yeah,
sometimes that's
yeah, good point. So you're enjoying, like, die Natur, and you're getting some exercise, and yeah, and you're doing German, and it's like, oh, I need to catch up on, these podcasts, or I really want to have time to finally finish that audiobook, and you go
mhm.
and you go on a hike, and it's really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And you can also oftentimes download like YouTube videos at home and
Mhm.
then just listen to those YouTube videos whilst the phone is in your pocket and you just listen to a story, a child story or
Mhm.
something like that in German, which I sometimes recommend to my clients.
Ja, das ist eine sehr gute Idee, especially if it's a story that you already know in your
Yeah.
language. So you're just purely
Oh,
focusing on the
yeah, yeah.
language aspect and not, wait, what's happening? Wait, what happened? Because you know what's
Yeah.
going to happen next.
Yeah.
Otherwise, sometimes if it's a new story, it can be really difficult with, like vocabulary that's like, swings and slides and whatever. And
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know, like kids things that you might not necessarily see every day. But yeah, das ist eine sehr gute Idee. Und in that same area is Disney films.
yeah.
Wenn du einen Disney-Film kennst, like if
Mhm.
you know it really well,
Yeah.
and you watch it auf Deutsch,
Yeah.
das ist sehr, sehr gut for your language learning, because you're like flooded with things that you're just absorbing because you already know and like the story. That's really good.
Would you recommend Untertitel, subtitles?
This is a big debate. um, the good thing about subtitles is that the question is
Which
auf
language?
Deutsch oder
Yeah.
auf English. And I would say auf Deutsch.
Ja,
Like
ich auch.
watch. Oh, I'm glad. I thought I was gonna have to convince you.
No, no,
Um,
no, no. I have a client with whom I started, I think like 12 or 18 months ago,
mhm,
and she always had trouble. I don't know if I already mentioned that in our last episode or something like that. She always had trouble with writing German. She made
mhm,
tons of mistakes, and then I don't know. I think 3 months ago we had like a little gap of 6 months or something like that, and then 3 months ago or 2 months ago she started learning again, and then we did some dictation exercises where she
mhm.
had to write down German, and her German was nearly perfect. I was
Wow.
like, Anna, that's her name. Like, how did this happen? Like, are you cheating? Do you have like a new software that kind of, does this or what? And she said, no, I'm watching movies with German
Mhm,
subtitle. So movies
mhm,
in German with German subtitle, and that's how I now can understand German words better and write them better.
mhm.
I don't
Um,
know if just it's for her like that or if but it's actually true.
that's really good. And congratulations to Anna. That's very good. There's another benefit to subtitles apart from the writing, which is that often the team who do the dubbing and the team who do the translating the subtitles are different.
Mm,
So you're listening to something and you're reading something,
mhm,
and they're different, although they're
mm,
saying the same thing.
yeah,
Um, like, the person might say, I'm really excited, but then in the subtitles it'll say, I'm really looking forward to it.
ja,
And so
ja,
you're
richtig.
learning, like, it's 2 for 1, which
Ja,
is, you might think, oh, das ist so schwer, but it's a really good challenge, and it helps you absorb more. And you don't, like, you can just like switch off and just listen or just read, like, as you like, but it's really, really good for that because you're learning more. And for those who learn, if anyone's learning Spanish, um is it ein Idee oder eine Idee?
die Idee,
Die Idee.
weiblich,
So
also eine.
eine sehr gute Idee ist,
Nice.
if you watch Disney films, es gibt 2 Spanisch-Filmen für jeder Disney-Film. Einer in Spanisch von Europa, like
Mhm.
European Spanish, so from Spain, von
Europäisches
Spanien,
Spanisch, ja.
europäische Spanisch von Spanien und einer von
Lateinamerika.
Lateinamerika, ja,
Ja, Lateinamerika.
Lateinamerika. And so you can watch the same film twice and it's
Mm,
completely different and you're learning
yeah,
so much.
yeah,
Es,
yeah.
das ist wunderbar.
Yeah, that's
It's,
a good idea. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know about Spanish, but I used to live in Portugal, and I heard the Brazilian Portuguese and the European Portuguese, and they're
Mhm.
very different.
Yeah.
So it does feel like that would kind of be a double challenge.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And if you're not a film person or du magst kein Serie oder Film, aber du magst Documentaries,
Mhm.
you can watch the Arte documentaries or other. I recommend Arte because it's very, very good. Do you watch
Arte is pretty
Arte?
good. It's my favorite program.
Yeah.
If I don't know what to watch, I just put on Arte.
Mhm.
For the listeners, Arte, Arte, is a German, French, and maybe some other countries collaboration TV program, and it has really, really good documentaries, sometimes really good movies, and it's just very high quality. I like it a lot.
It's
And you can
so
learn
good.
German.
Yeah. And if you know Französisch, you can watch the same one in
In
Französisch
French.
and in auf Deutsch. I'm so bad. I'm just gonna have people watching things on loop and changing the language. But it doesn't have to be like that. Du kannst andere Dinge sehen, zum Beispiel YouTube-Videos, wenn du magst kochen,
Mhm.
du kannst Cooking Channels sehen.
Mhm.
Und das ist sehr gut, weil das ist visual und du lernst viele, viele, viele Dinge,
Ja.
wenn du ein Cooking
Also,
Video
also
sehst.
something else that I've discovered, and then we go back to the language retreat. Some of my clients have like another hobby that they're doing. For
Mhm.
example, one of my clients, but there are a couple of them, but one of my clients has a guitar teacher.
Aha.
And I told him, why don't you get a German guitar teacher, einen deutschen Gitarrenlehrer?
Mhm.
So you have like two things at the same time. If your German is good enough to at least understand, especially with guitar playing, I feel like there's a lot of showing, and
Mhm.
so you can understand a lot of things also by the guitar teacher just showing you things, and then tell him to teach you most of the stuff in German, and
Mhm.
then maybe occasionally switch to English. And that's a great way to like improve your language whilst you're doing your hobby. I
Yeah.
think that's like, for example, I do jujitsu, and there's a guy who is he is from Russia, and I speak with him in German, and for him it's perfect. Like we are doing working out and do sparring with each other, and at the same time he kind of gets a German lesson at the same time. So that's if you have
Amazing.
something like that, like seek for hobbies,
Mhm.
and then don't stay in the English or whatever language is your
Mhm.
native language, but maybe find something if you're living in a German speaking country where you are like having then your teacher or your friends there
Mhm.
speaking to you in German.
Ja, das ist eine sehr gute Idee. Sorry, I did ask. You can also in ein Book Club. Du kannst in ein
Buchclub.
Buchclub gehen. Not for a book that you are reading, or if you want, you can. It depends how challenging you want to make it. You can go to like German, ein Buchclub auf Deutsch gehen und for a book that you've already read.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try that. Hold on. Für ein Buch, das du schön hast gelesen.
Schon gelesen hast.
Oh no!
Because you created the sentence with das, and das is a verb kicker.
Yep.
It kicks the conjugated verb to the end.
Mhm.
Ein Buch, das du schon gelesen hast.
Ein Buch, das du schon gelesen hast. Okay.
Yeah.
I will revise.
Let's now return to the language retreat.
Mhm.
What's the next step, or what's the next recommendation?
Yeah, the next recommendation is well, it's more of a question. you have to ask yourself, mag ich das mit oder ohne Freunde? And it really depends on what kind of person you are, because if you are with a friend, is that friend going to be distracting? Are you going to be the distracting one? And then you're not going to do any, Deutsch. But if you know that by yourself, you can't find the motivation, and you're just going to, do something else, even though you're out and you're not distracted by things at home, you can find distractions outside, then, go with
Okay.
ein Freund.
So that's a good tip. So yeah. So if I go to the a coffee shop, for example, and I figure out actually I'm just sitting there looking at my phone that I'm supposed to leave at home, then maybe a good idea is to ask a friend, "Hey, do you
Mhm.
want to learn together German with me? Maybe you
Mhm.
live in Berlin and there are tons of people that struggle with learning German, and then you just ask someone else, hey, let's meet on
Yeah.
Saturday, 10 a.m. in a coffee shop for an hour and a half, and
Mhm.
let's learn German together, or in the
Yeah,
library." Yeah, that's
exactly.
a good idea.
That's very good. And then the the last thing is for people who have no time, like no time, no time, no time. I won't comment on that. But the important thing to do is do things that you already do in your day-to-day life, but in German. Zum
Genau.
Beispiel, if you're writing your shopping list, write it auf Deutsch,
Ja, schreibe
Milch,
es auf Deutsch.
Brot, like, I don't know, Papier. I don't know. I can't think. Or just whatever it is you buy. So then you're making it a reality for you. Your to-do lists, your calendar, your list of Christmas presents or whatever.
Mhm.
All of these things. Do them in German. If you do things like journaling,
Mhm.
that's very good. If you can do that in auf Deutsch, das ist super
So
toll.
it's kind of like the same point that I mentioned before with
Mhm,
play like the guitar teacher,
mhm.
that you're then, instead of doing it in English, you're doing it in German.
With a
I
guitar
like that.
teacher, I would really find a bilingual one, because
Yeah.
das ist sehr, sehr schwer. There's a verb for play. Hold on. It's not ich spiele die Geige, is it? Is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Ich
okay.
spiele die Geige.
Ich spiele die Geige, und ich habe die Geige in England gelernt. Aber
Mhm.
wenn ich bin in Belgien
Wenn
gewohnt,
ich in Belgien
when
als ich in Belgien gewohnt habe.
I knew it. Ich war in eine Musikakademie, und das war alles in Französisch, und ich spreche Französisch. Äh, Das ist meine erste Sprache. Aber,
Erste Sprache.
sorry,
Erste Sprache.
erste Sprache. Aber das war super, super schwer, weil
Ah.
in dem Musik oder in dem
In der
Musikwelt,
Akademie?
like,
In der Musikwelt, ja?
ja, es gibt andere Sprache. Some things are not so complicated. Like, we say A, B, C, D, E, F, G for the notes, but they say do, re,
Ja,
mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
ja.
Aber ähm, in dem Musikwelt,
In der Musikwelt.
in
Because
der
it's die Welt and in is
okay,
in this case dative and then
in der Musikwelt, wir sprachen, oder sprachen wir? Oh no, now I'm really paranoid. This is gonna be
in der Musikwelt sprechen wir.
sprechen wir, Italienisch.
Ah.
Sometimes, manchmal Deutsch und manchmal Französisch.
Mhm.
So it can get a bit complicated,
So
but
that
it's good. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
Um,
So shall we recap now for the listeners again, which are all the points that are important for a language retreat, which I don't really know how to translate that. Sprachretreat, Rückzug, für das Sprachenlernen, something like that. Tell us again the points
Okay.
that would help.
Auf Deutsch. Nummer 1. Weniger ist mehr. That's the most important thing. Nummer 2. Blockiere es in deinem Kalender.
Ja.
3. Haben Sie keine Angst, Ihre Pläne zu verändern. 4. Mach es spaßig. Das ist maybe the most important one. 5. I forgot what number I'm on.
Ich glaube, du bist bei 5.
5. Lass dein Handy zu Hause und geh in einem Café oder in der Natur.
In die Natur, because you're moving so accusative.
I was like, it's going to be dative and it's feminine. Yes, I don't have to think about it. It's there.
But you said, ich gehe in die Natur.
Ja,
ich bin in der Natur, ich gehe in die Natur.
Okay, geh in die Natur. Yeah, you're right. Of course, natürlich.
So we had point number 5. Was there something else?
Yeah. 6. Decide if you're going to do it mit oder ohne Freunde. Und 6. Wenn du
7.
Oh my God, 7.
Ja.
Wenn du keine Zeit hast, do things that you do every day, aber auf Deutsch.
I like this. So the 7 kind of like tips from Farah about the language retreat. I like this a lot. So I don't know if this is the last lesson that I'm going to publish before Christmas. So Farah, I wish you ein frohe Weihnachten. Vielen Dank, dass du bei dem Podcast heute dabei warst. Und falls wir uns nicht mehr vor dem neuen Jahr sehen sollten, vor Silvester sehen sollten, dann wünsche ich dir auch einen guten Rutsch ins neue Jahr. So we also say I wish you a good slide into the new year. It's a weird German way to say like have a happy new year. Vielen Dank und bis zum nächsten Mal.
Yes. Bis bald. Tschüss.
If you want to learn more German, I have a 10-week program. You can find that in the link. I also offer private lessons, or you can just download my free ebook. I have one for beginners and I also have one for business German or Wirtschaftsdeutsch. Please also share the podcast wherever you can. Forward it to your friends. Make sure that people know about the podcast so that more people can learn German basically for free. So, cheers und bis bald.